one of the things that's really important is that you give your body back what the medications have taken out. There are some people that are like, oh, I will never take a supplement. I should be able to get everything that I can from my food. If we were living 50 years ago, that might be true. Hey, it's Cher, and you are watching or listening to the Style and Stewardship podcast. Okay, so today I'm getting into kind of a follow-up of the last video. If you are new here, my name is Cher. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist. So if you are new here, I like to share all about just managing and living a lifestyle of wellness faithfully and on purpose, and from the lens of stewardship. So I am all about educating and inspiring you to hopefully be empowered in your wellness so that you can steward everything else. Last week, I shared all about my facial paralysis. And if you have not watched that video before, I'll just give you a quick recap. A couple of weeks ago, I started having some issues with just a throat issue that turned into an ear issue that turned into something that I needed to go and see immediate care about. I saw them, they said it was an ear infection, but the pain was excruciating, and it was so much worse than anything that I've ever experienced on the back of my ear and my skull, kind of radiating upwards into my skull, down my neck. And within 2 days of within 1 day of going to the immediate care, I started feeling tingling in my lips, and my lips began to go numb. Later on, half of my face would not move. We did a CT protocol. We did a CT scans at the ER. They did stroke protocol. They did strep tests and all the different tests that you can possibly do. Everything came back negative. But what my husband said was he thought I had Bell's palsy, and that's exactly what they confirmed at the ER, as well as on the teledoc when I spoke with them. It's been a couple of weeks since. My pain has thankfully gotten a lot better, but I wanted to get into some of the things that I wanted to do holistically to get back to a place of just my body getting back to normal. So stay tuned. So I think that it is super, super important to obviously approach your wellness from a really practical place, but from a foundational place. So one of the things that I think happened, which created a perfect storm of why I became susceptible and then having been diagnosed with Bell's palsy, I believe that it was just a perfect storm of honestly the holidays and not really taking care of myself. And I'm always encouraging other people to, eat well, and I don't eat perfectly. I don't preach that. You won't see like squeaky clean eating over here. I like sweet things, but therein lies some of the issue. I just got a little too lax over the holidays, as well as I believe my body was fighting off something or the beginning of something. And since I have some other underlying conditions, I believe that it just created a perfect storm for me to end up with this diagnosis. So if you're not familiar, this can last for weeks to months. I can say thank you so much for your prayers. I have prayed for you as well. I have read all of your comments from the young lady who was going to have surgery to help her eyelid. There's so many. I have a literal prayer list that I've just gone through. So thank you so much for sharing your stories with me as well, so that I could pray for you. And one of the things that I always encourage people to do is, to give your body what it needs. And foundationally, it's so, so important. So whenever we have gone through something like a diagnosis, or, we have experienced something like, an autoimmune condition or something like that, it's really important that we get back to foundations. So we've had different medications in and out of our systems, right? I know they put me on 4 different medications. I'm done with all of those. And I wanted to be proactive as far as just getting some of the things that my body needs, back in. So one of the things that I did, I'm super, super excited because I did notice a huge difference. And it's really important that you know where you're starting from. So right now I know I'm starting with Bell's palsy, but I know that something led up to this, which means that my body, my immune system wasn't really working very well because I wasn't giving myself what it needs. I wasn't giving my body what it needs, rather, to fight whatever was coming my way off. A lot of times we think that we get sick around the holidays because there are a lot of germs and things like that. There are always a lot of germs, but I think one of the main reasons why we get sick around the holidays is because we're eating very differently. We're consuming a lot more sugar typically. Typically we're not eating things that are, you know, packed with protein or things that are going to support our bodies. A lot of times we're eating just for comfort, for fun, we're traveling, our sleep schedules get thrown off. So all of our foundations literally are thrown off into something that our bodies aren't really used to at that time. So if you find that you get sick a lot around the holiday season, start taking a look at what you're eating and how much you're eating. So it's great to indulge, and I say this all the time, God gave us taste buds. He meant for food to taste good and to be enjoyable, and I'm grateful for that. At the same time, sometimes we can overindulge, and if our body is already under stress, whether you're traveling or families coming over, or all of the different things that come with the holidays, and sometimes it's just the blues that come with the holidays for some of us because we're missing family members or loved ones. So a lot comes with it. But if we haven't already shored up that foundation, and if we're not already supporting ourselves, it just makes us susceptible for anything that may be lurking that our body may try to fight off, or just the fact that our body is overburdened with things that aren't necessarily supporting it. So I wanted to get into some of the supplements that I have been taking to help me on this road to recovery. But these are things that anyone can take if you find that you just need to kind of shore things up and to support your immune system during this time, because there are a lot of other, you know, sicknesses and things going around, probably for the same reason that I mentioned. We're eating more sugar, we're eating a ton of things that aren't necessarily supportive to our systems. So I wanted to get into that and show you and just share with you what I'm taking, why I'm taking it, and why these things don't just apply if you have Bell's palsy or if you have an autoimmune condition. These things apply just across the board with things that we want to make sure that we're getting enough of. One of the things that's really, really important is to make sure that you are getting in your base vitamins, and you want to make sure that you're also getting in your base minerals. So all of these are really, really important. Minerals are basically like spark plugs for your nerves and for so many processes in the body. And when we don't have them, our body is not going to function as well. Meaning, if something comes at us that the body needs to respond to, the response time can be low or lagging, or basically it's kind of like you're in a place that has spotty Wi-Fi. Like, that's the best way that I can explain it, if you don't have those minerals and if you don't have those vitamins. So like, not having your base vitamins is kind of like, you know, trying to hotspot your laptop off your phone in a bad area. I don't know how else to, I'm not even that techie, but that's the analogy that came to mind. So I like to use this Thorne Basic 2-A-Day, and this has vitamins A, D, E, K. So those are all your fat soluble vitamins that you have to get in. It also has vitamin K, which is vitamin K1 and vitamin K2. We need vitamin K so that our body knows what to do with calcium, because if we are eating calcium, taking calcium in, right, that mineral, what we're doing if we're not also having vitamin K2 is it can calcify soft tissues or muscles. So we don't want we don't want anything calcified in our arteries or in any other part of our body that's a soft tissue that's supposed to remain soft and flexible, like our blood vessels. So this also has our B vitamins. B vitamins are crucial. I'm about to talk to them in a minute. I'll talk about them in a minute. And we want to make sure that we're getting in something like this. You want to make sure that you are getting in vitamins that your body needs. And this is so there are some people that are like, oh, you know, will never take a supplement. I should be able to get everything that I can from my food. If we were living 50 years ago, that might be true, but so many things have happened to our soil quality, have happened to our land, and so many different things have been done to our food, period. And because of that, a lot of food that used to be really nutrient rich because of nutrient rich soil is no longer that way. So it's really important that you get in some sort of daily vitamin. In my opinion, none of this is medical advice. Speak to your doctor or your medical professional. This also has calcium, it has iodine, so those minerals. It also has magnesium, zinc. Zinc is very, very important for your immune system. It has selenium. We need that for our thyroid function. Copper, we need that for so many different things, especially if you have histamine intolerance, and manganese. So this is my go-to when it comes to a daily supplement. This is the Thorn 2-A-Day Basic. Everything that I'm sharing, these are products that I've been using personally for years. There's a couple that are, well, there's only one that's new. Everything else I have been using for years, and I just want to shore up those foundations. So making sure I'm getting in my base. So if I'm not eating well, or if my stomach is not, if I'm not assimilating nutrients the way that I need to, people who have autoimmune conditions and people who have things like diabetes or celiac disease, any of those conditions are stomach issues or food sensitivities. All of those are gut health function issues. So if you have any of those, you may not be absorbing your nutrients at all, or you may not be absorbing enough of the nutrients that you're taking in. So that is why we want to kind of shore up the foundations and take something like that. The next thing that I'm taking is NAC, and this is N-acetyl L-cysteine. This is potent when it comes to, let's see if we get it to focus here. This is crucial when it comes to helping your body's detoxification process, because N-acetyl cysteine, NAC, or NAC for short, this helps your body to create glutathione, which is your body's master antioxidant. So that is your body's like warrior fighter when it comes to your immune system, as far as things that are floating around in the body that shouldn't be there, and cellular junk basically. This helps so much. Amazing for inflammation, amazing for your liver. This is my go-to. I take this on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. It's the first thing that I touch as far as supplements. The next thing that I'm taking is Thorn Stress V Complex. This one is specifically to, it's a B complex. All of these are methylated, meaning that they're in their active form. So if you have any SNPs in your DNA, or if you have issues with vitamins, it might be that your body is missing that gene. You have a polymorphism. It's a whole long story. We'll do that in a whole other video. But if you have SNPs in your DNA, then your body can't methylate, and it doesn't turn vitamins into the active usable form that your body can actually utilize. So I know that I have that, so I always get activated B vitamins and things like that. So this one has a blend that is specifically for stress support for things like your adrenal glands. So that is why I am taking this, because we want to make sure that our body can adapt and become resilient to stressors that come its way. One of the things that I'm taking. The next thing that I am taking B12 drops. So B12 is absolutely, let's see if we can focus it. If you are listening to the audio, I'm just trying to get this to focus, but these are B12 drops, also known as methylcobalamin, and you do not want to take cyanocobalamin, because it literally is a form of cyanide. Literally, you don't want to put that in your body, and that's a synthetic form of B12. B12 is used for energy production in the cell, but it is so crucial and critical that the body has B12. This is one of the only B vitamins that your body stores about 3 months worth of. So if you've ever heard someone become vegan, I was vegan for 2 years. That was not good for my health at all. Ask me how I know. But B12 is one of the first things that they'll tell vegans to supplement, because it comes from animals. B12 is extremely important for your nerve function. And since we're talking about Bell's palsy and we're talking about a nerve issue, B vitamins are where I'm really hitting hard. I actually went and got a injection of B12 at a wellness center near me, because it, like I said, if you have any gut issues, it's a lot harder for your body to assimilate and to take in nutrients and vitamins and things of that nature if your gut isn't really performing well, or if you have issues in that in the surface of your gut, in the microvilli that pull nutrients from your food. So celiac disease, if you have that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you have any gut health issue, it can be hard for your body to take in the nutrients that it needs, and that's where we're getting our nutrients in. That's also where our body is fighting off bad things that come into the body. That's another episode or another day. But B12 is critical for nerve function and conduction. B12 is actually, so say you, since we're doing our little tech examples, say you have a cord and you were to cut that cord open, you would see all the different fibers in there, all the different wires. Our spinal cord is the same way. On the outside of those wires, they are enclosed in some sort of conduit, or they are enclosed in some sort of casing. That casing is called myelin. So myelin, what it does is it protects those electrical wires, aka the signals that are also going between them, from nerve cell to nerve cell. So all your neuronal function is housed in myelin. So people who have things like multiple sclerosis or things where their myelin has broken down end up with some very, very tough medical diagnoses. And we want to make sure that our body is getting the B12 that it needs. If you're someone who can't have dairy, you may be getting less B12. If you're someone who is not eating wild caught fish, if you can't eat eggs. So when we're talking about things that I personally experience, one of the reasons why I supplement is because I know that there's certain foods that I've cut out of my diet due to sensitivities and food allergies. And because of that, I want to make sure that I'm getting what I need. And that is one of the easiest ways to do it, is to supplement, but supplementing with something that is actually a reputable brand, something that's been third-party tested, that it actually contains what it says it contains. So that is why I get these specific ones. My account, the next thing that I am using, so this is kind of phase one, short the foundations. I've been doing this for about a week now. The other thing is going to be immune boosting. So I am just going to pop this into, so you take this between meals, and it has a dropper like so. And I'm just going to add this to some water, and we're gonna drink it. It's not terrible if you mix it with a good bit of water, which is the Daily Immune Builder. And this is basically a tincture. So this just has some herbs that have been extracted through alcohol. They also have alcohol-free ones. And this one has echinacea root. Echinacea is amazing for your immune system. It's amazing at fighting things off that your body has already been exposed to. I do want to give a caveat. If you are someone who has an autoimmune condition, echinacea is not the first thing that you want to reach for, because it can actually stimulate and cause a flare. So you definitely want to take your time with these things. You want to try the smallest amount that you can to see how you're going to respond to it. This also has astragalus root, it has reishi mushroom, it has shashandra berry, it has ash bark, and these things are all to help the body's immune system and to help it fight off, ward off things that has already kind of been attacked with, and I've obviously been attacked. The next thing that I'm doing, since I have histamine intolerance, is continuing to take nettle. This, I've gone through bags of the sifted leaf. I've gone through bags of the teas. I have the loose leaf. I have the capsules. Nettle, stinging nettle, nettle leaf or nettle leaf tea are phenomenal for you if you are someone who has to have some sort of anti-inflammatory that is specifically for lowering histamine and inflammation. Stinging nettle is my go-to, and since I have a lot of inflammation going on right now, it's actually lessened quite a bit. That is something that I'm taking to make sure that my body can have the right inflammatory response. Inflammation is actually a good thing. It is a protective thing. It is when your inflammatory process has gone haywire and out of control, and it becomes chronic as opposed to just acute happening when you need it to. It's happening all the time. And then autoimmunity happens when the body starts fighting itself, because the inflammation just stays ramped up and it never calms down. So inflammation is supposed to happen, it's supposed to go up, but it's supposed to come down. When it doesn't, we can end up with a lot of pain and a lot of arthritic conditions and things like that. If you have autoimmune conditions, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have histamine intolerance, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you can only have but so much inflammation before your body goes nuts. These are the things that I am taking now. This is STM Supreme, and this is just phenomenal to help your body with its inflammatory process. So this is a form of DHA and EPA. So if you're someone who does not eat wild caught fish, you are probably not getting in things like DHA and choline. If you're someone who can't have fish or eggs, you're probably not getting in much choline at all. So we need omega-3s specifically because they help our body mediate and resolve chronic inflammation. And it helps our body to do that on a cellular level, as opposed to whenever we're taking medications, we're forcing our body to do something. And I'm thankful for medications. I just had several things go through my system, and I'm grateful that I was able to have them. However, they are not without a cost. And one of those things is a lot of medications that we take are actually depleting our body of other nutrients. So if you are someone who has been sick for any reason, if you have had to go on antibiotics or antivirals or, you know, some steroids and all the things that I've just had to take, one of the things that's really important is that you give your body back what the medications have taken out, because that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. They think, you know, you think, okay, I've had an antibiotic and which I had to have, and you'll go and you'll just take some probiotics and you're good. But it doesn't necessarily work like that, because we want to give our body all of the base things that it needs, as well as things like probiotics. I'm doing all of this before I work in some low histamine probiotics, because I'm sure just decimated a huge population of my good gut bacteria. So I want to make sure that I shore up that foundation, because so much of our immune system resides in the gut, because so many things are going in through our bodies. So the integrity of our gut and our microvilli and our gut function is extremely important, even for nothing else than absorbing the nutrients that our body needs at a base level, so that we're healthy and so that we're resilient when things come our way. So this is the Camus powder. I talk about this all the time. I've gone through several packs of these over the years due to histamine intolerance. This is just one of the best ways to get in vitamin C, because a lot of the vitamin C that's on shelves is usually ascorbic acid, and it's produced by fermenting corn. And that doesn't work for a lot of us, especially if you have histamine intolerance. Fermented things are a problem. And for some other people that can't tolerate corn, that's a problem for them as well. So this is literally like a berry. And this one, it's hand harvested, and it is the highest level of vitamin C of any plant on earth. And it's just like a little berry. So this has a very tart flavor. You could mix it in with some water. What I've gotten used to doing is I'll just put a measured teaspoon in there. I'll put it in my mouth and I'll just chug it with a bunch of water, and that's how I like to take it. So that is Camu. Love that. I always tell people about that. And you're also not only you're not getting in a synthetic vitamin C, you're getting, anytime we're taking in a whole food nutrient, our body understands it better. Some of the things, I love modern medicine. I love modern convenience. I love that I can pick up supplements, but at the same time, if there's a way to get it from food, you totally can. So if you're someone, you're like, I am not about to do a supplement, that's not what I want to, or that's something that's just not in my budget right now, one of the things that I love to do to get in things like DHA, which is amazing for omega-3s, amazing for your body's inflammatory response, is to eat wild caught sockeye salmon. You could also get this from oysters, from maybe some smoked oysters or something like that if you can tolerate that. But you want to get in omega-3 fatty acids because they're going to help your body's inflammatory response. But it's going to also keep your body from having a pro-inflammatory, so if you're someone who has an arthritic condition or any sort of autoimmune condition is a type of inflammatory condition. So you want to make sure that you are helping your body with its natural, innate, God-given way of regulating inflammation in a healthy way. Because inflammation in and of itself is not bad, it is a good thing, but we want to make sure that our body is doing the right functions and getting the right information to do that. So I love this SPM Supreme because this one has a synergistic blend, so a blend that works together that helps with pro-resolving mediators, meaning that it literally helps the body to respond to inflammation and bring it down in the way that it's supposed to do naturally. So this helps the body to do that. So I use this one in particular. So anytime we have a breakdown in the barrier function of our gut, we're gonna have a breakdown in the absorption of the things that we're taking in. So your body may not be absorbing things from food that you think that it is, because it's not actually breaking down or assimilating the nutrients in a efficient way because it has an underlying issue. So that is one of the other reasons why I like to personally take supplements, because I want to make sure that my body is getting what it needs. You're going to hear me say that a lot, but that is how the body works. God created it to need certain things. There's no getting around it. Like, our bodies need A, D, E, and K, and all of these things are found in our foods. But if our foods are sick, or we're getting low quality food, or if we're not getting enough of the things that are actually supportive and that your body considers food, because just because we can eat something and a company can call it food, many times it's a food-like substance. It's not even real food. It's just something that we're able to eat. Just because we can eat something, it doesn't mean that it's food. So I always say that, and it's crazy, but it has to be said. Everything that's labeled food is not a food to your body or understood by your body, because our body is not reading nutrition facts, we are. And when we're eating things in their most natural state, or in their closest to their whole state, and the less processed as possible, the more we'll be able to take in the nutrients that God created our bodies to use. And during this whole journey, I was thinking, how can I best support my body? And the thing that just kept coming up was, what would I tell anybody else? Anybody that works with me, we have a starting place, right? Are you getting what you need? Like, is your body getting what it needs? Are you giving your body what it needs? Do you have a condition that causes you to not be able to eat certain foods? Because if so, how can we make sure that you're getting the nutrients that you would be getting from those foods? And then, is there something that your body is struggling with right now? And how can we support that and make sure that your body is receiving nutrients? So those are things that I would be telling anyone that I'm working with. So that is where I start. So that's where I'm starting with myself. And this video is really just to encourage you to start somewhere with yourself. You have to start somewhere. If you are someone who does not know where to start, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I think I'm doing all the right things, but things are not going well, or I am constantly getting sick, or what have you, then you can schedule a free call with me, and we can just see if we'd be a good fit, go over what it is that you are eating, and just see how we can best support you, because that's really what it comes down to. We're all unique, and we all need something different, and we're all starting at a different place. But foundations are foundations. What do you need to make you well? What do you need as a great starting place for you? So that is what I have gotten back to for myself. And once I do this, I'm going to work in a protocol where I'm supporting my gut. But first, we want to work on foundations. Give your body what it needs so that it can thrive and do the healing work that it can actually do. The last thing I want to talk about that I'm taking for pain, I wanted to not take ibuprofen anymore because it can be really, really hard on your gut, and it's not great for you. It's great to have it only when you need it at the smallest amount that you can handle to, basically it just takes the edge off. It doesn't stop pain for me since it's more of a nerve thing, but it does take the edge off. I started taking something called feverfew, and I take that for pain management, as well as doing things like a warm compress. And I also do things like castor oil packs. So castor oil packs, warm compress, things like that have been really, really helpful to me. Taking things that I've also started taking magnesium again. I hadn't taken it for a while. So there's so many different things. This is not to go, you don't have to go out and buy all of this stuff. This is just what I want to do personally to make sure that I'm covering all of my bases, to make sure that my body is getting everything that it needs while I'm on a healing journey, because this can last for weeks or this can last for months. For some people, it lasts even longer. So I just want to give my body the best fighting chance that it can have when it comes to giving me everything that I need so that it can rebuild and repair. Because I believe that God created our bodies to heal and to repair. And when we give it the right things, it's able to do that a lot easier and more efficiently. So those are the things that I'm taking. If you're someone on a wellness journey and you're like, how do I even start? What do I do first? I need somebody to have eyes on what I'm doing and help me approach my wellness in a way that I can steward it the best. You can find a link below if you want to schedule a call with me. Until next time, your life matters. What you do with it matters. So what will you steward well? Peace.